Welcome back to Navigating Neva. Welcome back. I'm your host, Nicole, and I'm here with my co-host, Wesley.
Hey everybody.
And tonight we've got someone special. She's a friend that I met a few years ago, and she's now been with me for throughout my life, my ups and downs. And I can thank the Red Cross Aquatic World for our introduction. So we want to give a big shout out to the Red Cross for all of my friendships and collaborations. And welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight.
Absolutely. And to that Red Cross, you've got a lot of background. Instructor, coach, leader, spouse, traveler of the country. Give
Yes.
us a little snippet. Tease us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, did Red Cross swim lessons growing up. Found my love for water. Started teaching swim lessons when I was in high school after joining my high school swim team, and the rest is history. I mean, it's just been one thing after another. I took my lifeguard instructor certification as an independent study through my college swim coach. And then all but maybe 3 of the last 20 years, I was a lifeguard instructor and really loved it. So, and swim coaching in and out through there. And yeah. And then I did have a swim school in St. Augustine, Florida for 5 years. So,
Talk about running the gamut, right, Nicole?
So I wanted to take you back to, warmer weather, back when I met you. So
yeah.
I met Lindsay. She came to my class, and I didn't realize she had her own swim school. Most of the people that come to my class come because they work in Georgia. And I can't say that for sure. I have people that come from all over the southeast United States, some as far as North Carolina or Alabama or Bradenton, Florida. So she wasn't that far. She was only like an hour or two from me. But I found out she had her own swim school, and she was one of the first two people I met that had their own swim school. So tell us a little bit about the swim school you ran for 5 years.
Yeah, so it happened extremely organically and unknowingly. It was actually during COVID. I had just accepted a position for St. Johns County. There's a summer swim league there. And then one of my neighbors was like, "Oh, hey, like, swimming, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, kind of, right?" Just a little. And they're like, "Oh, well, can you teach, my son swim lessons?" And it was like, "Yeah, I can do that." Lived in a community with a pool. So it was pretty easy access, which was amazing, especially for being in Florida. And the first year I was only doing a few lessons here and there. And then word of mouth spread. And if,
Hmm.
those that are in small business know what a blessing it can be to have the word of mouth spread. And it really grew from there. And then obviously once I was coaching, it was like, oh, well, hey, this swimmer's sibling needs to get ready for swim team. Can you get them ready? And thankfully, social media, on my name, when someone would recommend or ask for swim lessons, my name would constantly be, brought up. And I decided that when I had 29 clients per week of my own, that it was time to scale and grow. And I did that. And the following year, I had 8 instructors working for me, and we were at about 168 lessons per week with not having any brick and mortar. It was all mobile swim lessons. So it was busy and
Yeah.
coaching swim team on top of that. So
And
it
and
was a
you
busy
were
stuff.
you were teaching, yeah. So just for our audience members and listeners, again, I haven't got my quote in. Nicole, they just released the top 10 podcasts of the year. We didn't make it, but
Oh,
I'm hopeful for 2026.
yeah.
And don't worry, I took a picture. I have the list. So we'll start marking Amy Poehler, we're coming for you. Hoda Copy, we're coming for
Yes.
you. Anyway, but to that point is so you were teaching, you were coaching, and then you had instructors that were going to homes, and
Mhm.
then you had the location that you were teaching the advanced. So you had to have a big pool, right? Because you can't do it in the home pool,
Right?
right?
Yep.
So tell the audience if you would, and I know you're doing a lot of things, but just kind of give an audience the what that was like, right? You were coaching, and you had to coach at certain times because that's a certain type of student, and
Yep.
that's a certain type of pool. And then you had all your employees, if they were. And how did that, right? Because it just flipped a switch, and now I have 146 lessons a week.
Yeah. Well, it was
And congratulations. My
thank
apologies.
you.
And
Thank you.
congratulations. Keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. It was a lot of hard work, obviously. But it was so amazing just to have people want to be a part of it. I think that was really important for me is um that there were, especially I really liked to hire moms. Moms just kind of get it when it comes to aquatic safety, not to knock on any dads or anything like that, or non-parents. But it just seemed like
We're
they
too aloof to take offense, so it's okay.
So, it was great to hire moms who, like who were similar to me, who, I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. I know we'll get into this a little bit more in the podcast, but I was a stay-at-home mom for 4 or 5 years. My husband is serves in the Coast Guard, and when our kids were toddlers and he was deploying, I just didn't have the bandwidth to work. Dealing with the deployments on their own was hard enough. We had gone through that pre-kids. And then
Mm,
so I kind of knew that, when he got put back on a large ship that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And so um swimming has always kind of um for lack of better terms, just kind of fallen back into my lap. These opportunities have come up, and again, through the power of social media, there was someone who saw that I was a swim coach, and so that's how I got offered the job to start back again in St. Johns County, and then just the word of mouth just really, really helped me because not a lot of people at that time were going to people's homes to teach swim lessons. And a lot of it was done, at the local Y, which was great.
hmm.
However, we really specialized in individual one-on-one lessons. We did not take any group lessons
There you
unless it
go.
was to prep for swim team. So in order to do that, they had to swim a 25 yards of a pool and be able to do that pretty consistently in order to get ready for swim team. So that was the only time that we really took on any sort of group lessons. Everything was very individual, so we were able to really, really cater to the individual needs, of the child, whether they were special needs or had trauma. From any past water experiences, we were really able to get into that niche of those at-home swim lessons.
Absolutely. And I think, again, for those listening, I think something we kind of often get in a trap of if I'm trying to serve everybody. What I love about what you said is we knew we were going to do privates. We're not doing group. I
Mhm.
knew who I wanted to hire is moms. I work with Nicole, and I know a young professional, Cameron Balcom in Houston, who she hires post-college swimmers. If you swim in college, that's her niche. And so
Yeah,
again, really knowing who you're going to bring on. You knew you were mobile, so you knew you had the YMC for a part of it, but you also knew you were going to get to their home. So just even though maybe it didn't list out that way, if you're listening here, there's a lot of boxes that were checked just in your thought process. I know who my staff is. It's moms. I know who my audience is. It's one-on-one clients. Where are they going to do at homes? And I just think those are really important focus points. As even if social media wasn't there, even if the light didn't flip over, you still had that all in place, and I think that's so valuable.
thank you.
Uh, I'm gonna interrupt and I'm gonna tell the audience here that before we started recording, we found out that Lindsay actually met Wesley before I met her because she reached out to him when you started the swim school. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, and he was a great source of information, and I felt like where we were at in Florida, it was like the land of HOAs and navigating that and
Yeah.
trying to break into HOAs. It was Wes was super helpful. So thank you, Wes. And
Oh,
thank
of
you, Nicole,
course.
for all your help. You guys have both been a part of my journey as well. So thank you both.
Did you find him
Yeah.
on Facebook?
Yes, yep.
Okay, I
Power of
wondered. I
social media,
wondered.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Here to help.
Yep.
That's me here to help.
Yep. And
Uh,
you were, and I still see you posting all the time, like happy to talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's figure out how to way to get you, let's solve your problems. So I see you out there.
no, that's the idea. But in all seriousness, and again, thank you. I think again, everybody's different. HOAs are different than homes, are different than Hawaii. Florida is different than Texas.
Yes.
You've moved now. You mentioned your husband in the Coast Guard. You're a Red Cross. You're an authorized provider. You're an instructor, right? All of those things add up to how do you create a business around who you are and what you offer. And
Mhm.
again, even remembering back then, you understood that, and I think
Mhm.
that's one of the many reasons you were successful.
Yeah.
To that point, and I know Nicole's going to yell at me later because it's her question, but talk about how you were 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in, and now you're up and running, and it's a machine. What was that kind of like for you mentally? One of the lessons I always tell people is you're going to have to change your swimsuit for your khakis, right? You're going to have to switch belts. Did you
Mhm.
ever get to that point? And what was that like for you if you did?
Um, yeah, but I think I love seeing the progress of kids too much to, fully be
Yeah.
away from teaching them. You know, I was a physical education and health, you
There
know,
you go. Right.
uh
You have a master's, is that
for
right?
my undergrad, yes, and I have
Yeah,
my
yeah.
master's in exercise physiology.
Yeah.
So I have had zero business classes. I avoided those like the plague in college. But so it was all learning. And I also had a really great mentor who started off as a client um, for swim lessons, and then I actually ended up hiring her to do my marketing. And Nicole, you know her too, Jess.
She was great.
Jess
You hit the
Plus,
jackpot.
amazing. She's amazing too with her background and the business that she's building just for marketing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was someone that I really leaned on. And also another shout out to Swim Merritt out of
Yes.
Nocatee, Sarah Merritt. She's amazing. And just asking questions. I also have a really good friend who started her own pet walking business. So I leaned on her a whole lot.
Smart.
So it was really amazing, but my bread and butter is being with those kids and running the business. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that
Hmm.
you don't know until you know.
Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, I really, really love working with kids and especially the fearful ones, and seeing them, not wanting to put their face in the water to blow nose bubbles. Um, and then, hopefully getting them to where they're cannonballing in off the side, right? So, total 180 of behavior and attitude towards being in the water.
That's beautiful. You know what you love, and you found a way to continue to do it. A lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
We know the business side is hard,
Mhm.
and so they can't look forward to the pool. And so I just think it's great that you figured out what you love and found a way to continue to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I
So,
feel very fortunate for the opportunities that have come my way.
so
Mm.
I'm going to speed us up. Or not speed us up, fast forward us to now. So
Okay.
you are no longer in Florida and your swim school days have since ended, right?
Yeah, I'm teaching a few lessons here and there in the summer, but not year round. It's a lot different up here because I'm no longer in Florida. I'm in Michigan now.
The year round. It would be a different podcast if you found out how to teach year round outdoor swim lessons in Michigan. That
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Oh, listen, it's the ideas have already been in my head to, like rent a
Hey.
garage, put up like one of those Intex pools or whatever they're called,
Oh, well, yeah.
you
My
know.
wife has her own
So
full-time swim
if I
lesson
only had the
business.
time though.
Yeah, my wife has to figure out. No, I mean, she's in good places, but every winter you come calling to wherever you can go, and in the
Mhm.
summer, yeah. So we the same. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
your pain. Yeah, fair. So how has that been? So to that point, now you're teaching some of your swim lessons there.
Yep.
It's still lifeguard instruction, right?
Yep. Yep.
Tell us about
So
that. What's that been like for you? Because you were raised up here, is that correct?
Yep, I was
Yeah.
born and raised in the Detroit area, and then I'm on the west side of Michigan now in the Grand Rapids area. And I went to college out here. Fortunate enough to have been a Division II swimmer for Grand Valley State. And now I am an instructor there as well. So I
There
teach a
you go.
couple fitness classes as well as lifeguarding and the beginning swim class. So.
That's a different, well, tell us what that's been like for you, the beginning swim class versus what you were doing, training for a swim team. Do you
Yeah.
like that? How's that been for you?
Yeah, it's been good. It's a different ball game, and I'm sure you two can also attest to this, because the beginning swim class is for college students. So, maybe they've never really touched water before, or maybe that they have, maybe they were a part of a swim team at some point in their lives, or maybe they were, high school swimmers. So I see all of them, because sometimes the class numbers can be a little limited. So we don't always hold the intermediate class. But it's been great. It's a different approach when you're dealing with adults. Sometimes there's trauma involved with that too. And so I feel like my goal is to kind of undo that trauma and that tenseness because, if they can't float, they're tense in their muscles.
Yeah.
And at that point, hopefully they know their body well enough to be able to move it well. But if you have those tense muscles, it makes it really difficult because you're just fighting against water at that point.
I call it
Yes.
unclinched swimming. I get all of these.
Yes.
Well, I get a lot of people, but this one lady comes to me who can swim, but she's so tight. Like she's been swimming her whole life. So it's not that she's not a good swimmer, but obviously her body position and her form is off. And so we've been
Mhm.
working on her streamline. And I'm like, I'm going to write a book called Unclinched Swimming because you
Yeah.
can see her. And every time
Yes.
I give her a drill, I'm like, these muscles, ma'am, right here. I was like,
Right.
let this
Right.
go.
That makes me think of Institute of Aquaphobia. Well, we can send you their info. They're
Yeah.
overseas, but it's an entire curriculum. You can watch it online, and it's designed for
Fear.
especially college, 18 and older.
Hmm.
I mean, kids too, but it's really a fear resolution, fear philosophy, fear reduction, all those things. But anyway, it might be something for you to help with the students, help with
Yeah.
enrollment,
I
help
would
with
love
both.
any resources.
But yeah, Institute of Aquaphobia, and
Okay.
for any audience members, but we'll send it to you as well. But they're not as dominant in the United States as they want to be, but they're working on it. But anyway, it talks about all the things you guys are saying, and it talks about how you, Lindsay, yourself, can use those principles not just when they're in the water, but also when you're in the classroom and when they're talking at coffee and when they're in the
Right.
locker room and all those sort of things. But anyway, but that
Awesome.
as soon as I heard both of you have the same thing of body clenching,
Yeah.
one, my back reminded me why I don't get in cold water anymore, and two, Institute of Aquaphobia. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's and again, I think it's important for everybody here. Like, it's not easy to a move your life, but b also find a way to share that passion. And you're used to students that are preparing to be competitive. You're
Hmm.
used to staff that goes to different houses. Well, now your staff is in the building, and the
Yeah.
student is the same age, or not the same age, but the student doesn't have the same skills. And well, that was different. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
It's been an experience, but again, to me, whether it's swim lessons or coaching in any capacity, it's all about the progress
I knew
of
you were going
getting
to say that.
people, where they don't think that they can be. Like that has been my coaching philosophy since I started coaching, I don't want to reveal too much, but 20 plus years now.
Since
Uh,
you started, yeah,
yeah, right.
since you began, yeah.
But my philosophy has always been, prove to you what you don't think you can do,
Yeah.
and get you to
I
that
love it.
level that you don't think that you're able to achieve and do it with, getting smarter and better.
Yeah.
Just continuing that, education, really.
Yeah.
Mama taught me if you hear something twice, pay attention, and you have now said it's all about the progress twice, and so I'm
Yeah,
paying attention.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
so you are coaching. You're back. You're teaching at the school, and you're also coaching. So you dove in aquatics, but with both feet, both day and
Yeah.
night. Is that what you did?
Yeah, yeah, literally day and night because 9 o'clock this morning I was teaching a class at the college and about an hour ago I just got home from practice. So yeah, day and night. We just had a big swim meet over the weekend. and it's been a real pleasure. We don't have a massive team. We have about 90 swimmers.
Still.
Yeah, and they're doing great. We had from our team, I believe we had about 60 kids in the water this weekend, which totaled up to 200 and gosh, 247 races, and we had 165 lifetime best swims.
Wow. I hope there's a
So,
lot of people listening, nodding their head,
Lifetime
going, "Yep,
best
that's my,
swims.
yeah.
that's amazing." And
Yeah.
how long does that season go? Are you in the heart of it now, or
Yeah,
where?
so
Yeah.
we just get so with club season, it's a USA swimming club.
Hmm.
So they are our governing body. So we started right after Labor Day, and we will go with championship seasons in March. So
There
we're
we
really
go.
just getting started. March means March Madness for swimming. At every weekend I'll be in a different pool at a different point in the state, and hoping for some really fast swims. So
That's so awesome. Wow.
yeah.
But this has nothing to do with our show. It's really just personal completely, and I'm going to ask you. So I keep running into our high school coaches, and Georgia's really weird. We have zero pools in the high schools. Crazy, I know. And just for all my listeners listening that don't live in Georgia, so all of our swim meets are at other pools. And every time I talk to them, I'm like, "So where's your meet this weekend?" Because this isn't the USA teams. These are the high school kids. We've got two teams and they go all over, but they don't go as far as the wrestling. So my son does high school wrestling, and they are like in the middle of Florida and South Carolina, up near Atlanta. But the
Mhm.
swim team, they don't go that far, and I was like,
Mhm.
that's weird.
Yeah.
Thought I'd
But I
never
just
get to
thought that
brag
was
about
interesting.
this.
Do you
As
tell?
one who wrestled in high school, I'd never thought I'd put this in your bingo card, ladies and gentlemen. I did wrestle in high school. My brother's now going to listen. My brother wrestled as well, way better than I was, but now everybody's going to listen. But yes, Nicole, we traveled because, we're wrestlers and we're strong. Are you kidding? Swimming is, I mean, they're both insanely difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, the wrestlers, they have to travel far because they only have dudes typically, and they do longer tournaments, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, at least in the Midwest, generally they travel further, because one, it's only one sex, and two, there's multiple people coming in, so it brings in different regions. Like
That makes
there's big
sense.
anyway.
I
So
thought the
yeah.
seasons were the same. I really thought high school wrestling and swimming were the same season.
Oh no, I just meant that there's no boys and girls.
Right,
I'm
for the
sorry. Yeah,
distance.
yeah,
No, 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 I get
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, I know, almost everybody swims USA except whatever Mark does. So I'm very
Yeah.
familiar with USA because that's what our team here does, but not our high
Yeah.
school,
Yeah, my high
which is
school
much
didn't have a swim
smaller.
team either or pool. They do
Oh
now.
wow.
Yeah,
Really?
crazy. Yeah, Central Illinois, East Peoria. Now they have, and the girls just won some state stuff and some ribbons. It's all over Facebook, and I had to check that it was actually my high school because like we swam across the river in Peoria just to swim. We didn't even have a high school swim team. Yeah, I know. I made it out. We're okay, but still, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, but no, that's crazy. So you'll be traveling in the middle of the winter all through Michigan.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And have you done that circuit before in the role you're in? I know you grew up here, but have you done what you're doing? You did it last winter, or
Yeah, yeah, so when we moved back in June of 24, so
okay,
we've been here just about a year and a half again, back
gotcha.
here a year and a half. And yes, I was a USA swim coach. Goodness. I think my first assistant coaching position was in 2006. And then I've been a part of three other USA teams, never as a head coach. So this is my first time being a
There we
Oh,
USA
go.
head coach.
congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
don't
you.
bury the
Yeah.
lead.
Is it
Yeah.
crazy? Is it way too much work?
It's a lot of admin work and learning the ins and
Yeah.
out of the back office has
Oh,
taken some time.
Yeah.
I was a head coach right out of college for a high school team, my former high school team, which is super exciting. So you guys know when pools close down, for whatever reason, they never open back up. My
truth.
high school pool was closed for about 7 years and it's reopening.
What?
Is
Yes.
it
I'm gonna
reopening
have
in
to
the
look
same
that up.
condition, or did they
Yes.
make improvements, or did they
Yes.
just reopen the doors? Because there's a
No,
big difference.
they
It's better.
they had to like redo it because it was one of
Okay.
those pools that
Got
was,
it. Okay.
in the 60s.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and it's
yeah.
actually too shallow. They had to take the diving boards out because it's too shallow. And then
For sure.
the starting blocks,
What
it's
school is
way
Okay.
too
this?
shallow. It is, I believe the name now is East Point Community High School. When I went there, it was East Detroit High School.
Oh,
And so it is
nice.
reopening very, very soon. So that's
See,
That is
super.
so
So shout
exciting.
out to Laura Phi Daly for getting that project up and running,
nice.
because we know that especially in areas with lower socioeconomic status, that pools do not reopen, and those are the communities that need the swim lessons the most. And so
Drowning
she
prevention
is riding
stats
that ship.
101. Yeah. So
So
again, this is how we climb the podcast rankings is sharing this wonderful
yes,
news that pools can be saved.
yes,
And when they don't, and I know of pools that have been reopened and then it's just a rust bucket and they're like, well, we're open. I was like, no, no, that's not the same, dude. But
no,
I
it's
mean, this is
gorgeous.
a real, yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
awesome.
for a pool that was open in the 60s, I believe it
Right.
was open in the 60s. It's looking crisp. It's looking
Yeah.
so good.
And they're
So
doing it right and they've got
yes,
professionals and it's
yes,
done with, yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
yes.
Wow. That's a heck of a way to round this whole thing out. That's
That
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is almost a tease. We could be like, listen to the podcast and hear what Lindsay says about, because
Yeah,
that's pretty
Right.
amazing.
it
Yeah.
Our
is.
pool
Yeah.
did that. The county next to us, I don't know if your pool was indoors or in a basement, but the county next to us filled our pool in, the city and municipality pool in, with dirt and sand. Like I have a picture of it filled, and they undug it. And I was
Hmm.
like,
Oh, like
well,
a grave robber.
yes. And I was like, okay. But I mean, it does look great. I don't know who did the work and I wasn't a part of it, but I am a
Yeah,
part of it now because we partner with them and do their swim lessons. So I see the pool all the time.
yeah.
They took the lane lines out and they took it from a deep end to a shallow end. So they did a little bit of renovation, but it's literally the same foundation and everything. But I was like, who unburies a pool? But they
Yeah.
did. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so let's tell the audience
Yes.
how you went from up north to Florida and back again. What made that happen?
Yeah. So, you marry into the military and you're on an adventure.
More
So
heads going up and down with the audience, more head bobs. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So, we have a unique story, but it works for us. It probably would doesn't work for everyone. But we got married and he was going to a ship, and we knew that because he was on a
Oh,
land unit. So within the Coast Guard, it's typically land ship, land ship, land ship. That's, how you play the game. And we knew, like I said, that he was going to a ship, and I knew that I wanted to continue my education. And so that's when I stayed back in Detroit and I went to Wayne State University, got my master's at that time. But we literally got married, went on our honeymoon, and within 4 weeks moved him out to Maine. And he was stationed at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, and I stayed back in Detroit. So
okay.
again, wouldn't work for
Well,
everyone, but
yeah. Well,
we've
good for you
we've
guys.
been together for a long time now, so it
Oh,
works. So I would go and visit him on school breaks. And I was also coaching high school at that time and coaching club at that time and substitute teaching, just, running crazy. And he was on that ship for 2 years, and then we found out that he got a job at Air Station Detroit. And so had our kids at Air Station Detroit. We were there for 3 years. Then from there we went back to Maine again, this time with two toddlers.
yeah.
Um, and I wasn't working at that time, again, just because I knew the deployments were going to be rough because the ship that he was on was typically out for 2 months and then home for 2 months-ish. Never quite was equal, not in our favor,
Sure.
of course.
Sure.
And then from Maine, we lived in Key West for 11 months. That was
Oh, I
awesome.
honeymooned in Key West. The only
Oh,
vacation
yeah.
I've ever, my wife and I've a second Florida, Georgia, but yeah, Key West was our anniversary. Two, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, crazy. Keep
Awesome.
going. Sorry.
No, that's okay. And we were only in Key West for about 11 months. And it was a quick turnaround. I had never been to Key West before living there. And then went up to,
Duval
St.
Street.
Augustine after that. We were there for 5 years. And then we've been here in the Grand Rapids area for the last year and a half. So
Okay.
that's our modern day gypsy story.
A good
Uh,
gypsy story.
It
yeah,
is.
that's fantastic. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So how different was Key West from the Jacksonville area you were in? Were they similar?
Uh,
Did you feel like you were in Florida or were they pretty different?
pretty
Duval
different.
Street. Duval Street. That's all I'd say is Duval Street. Key West is like if Wisconsin Dells and St. Simon's Island had a baby. That's what Key West is like. It's half to. I mean, you live there, but we were there for 7 days, and I remember about 15 minutes of it.
Yeah.
The pictures
No.
told me everything. But
Yeah, I was really surprised. So having never been to Key West before living there, in only hearing about people vacationing there,
Yeah,
all you hear about is, the drinking and the partying, right?
right.
It was way, way, way more family friendly than I ever
it's
imagined it
really
to be.
nice there.
It is. And we were actually there during the government shutdown in 2019.
Oh, fun.
And that community rallied together to make sure that we were fed
Oh
and
yeah.
taken care of. So Key West will always have a very special place in my heart.
Caroline's
What's that? Yeah.
Caroline's crab something sandwich. Po' boys, Caroline's po' boys,
Yes.
and the smallest bar on the planet, and Duval Street, and Margaritaville, and the place where Jimmy Buffett wrote and Kenny Chesney wrote, the famous writer. Anyway, somebody, yeah, I could go on and on. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
fantastic, crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
small world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved being in Key West. We had a boat while we were down there. So my little Midwest heart was so happy when we were boating around and dolphins were just, playing in the wake. And it was just like, oh, I've dreamed of this my whole life.
I'm living there
Yeah,
vicariously with you.
you
Yeah.
had maybe the best
Yeah,
COVID ever, is all I can say.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
so drastically different in terms of um just culture. There was a lot more culture, in Key West. We were in St. Augustine for COVID, and that seemed to attract a lot of people from New York and New Jersey. So there was a lot of building going on. Probably, in my opinion, too fast for what the, infrastructure could keep up with.
Sure.
Yes.
However, it helped build my business to what it came to. So, it pros and cons
Yeah.
to everything. But I'm thankful for my time in every location that we've been in. Because I also lived in Arizona even like before that. In that 2007 to 2009, I was in Arizona. So I'm very thankful for all the places, that life has taken me. But to me, nothing but beats home, and although I'm not living in the Detroit area, I'm feeling very fortunate to be back in the Grand Rapids area, where I was, a college
Yeah.
student and, really learned a lot about myself, as I was becoming an adult.
That's what it's all about.
Mhm.
Yeah. This has just been so fantastic getting to know you way better than we did before, but also hearing about your journey and where you were back then and where you are now and what you've been through and what you've accomplished in your family. And again, hopefully, I know I tease about the audience and hopefully, but people also take me serious. Like this is somewhat of a normal aquatic agenda in their life, minus the military journey and minus like people switch gigs and they have to move
Yep.
around and they struggle with their own business. And so I just think it's so great that you shared your story and we're so vulnerable and we just appreciate it.
Oh
We
yeah,
do.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to see
So,
if you can give us a moment of positivity or tell us something exciting. So you have a really vast background from Florida and up north and the
Yep.
schools and the business and the coaching. What is one thing you feel aquatics gets right?
So I don't even know that it's something that someone does, but I feel like it's really the passion that people have for aquatics, whatever, kind of sect they're in for it. Whether it's swim lessons or coaching or whatever. That the people that have been in it, let's say for more than 2 years,
Yeah.
they're passionate, borderline obsessive, because I think that you have to in this business, because there can be a lot of heartbreak. But there's a lot of wins too. So, really taking a look and seeing what did you accomplish,
hmm
and so I would have to say passion. And I think that's just a characteristic that comes from the people that are drawn to it.
spot on. Again, You say win, I hear progress, right? And you say all the time, if you can find the wins, there's lots of them, and it's not hard to find them if you look. And
Mhm.
minus the fact that no one drowned today, right? There's
Right.
a lot of wins. The progress of the swim instructor or the lifeguard or somebody learned CPR, all the things you've experienced, and I think it's amazing how you carry that forward. So that's phenomenal.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have
Yeah.
to agree with that. A lot of people come into aquatics and they leave quickly. But you said, anybody that's been here after 2 years, anybody that's
Mm.
stayed definitely has the passion. Other people will come and they'll
Yes.
think they like it and then they're just gone really quick. So
Right.
they don't
Right.
have the passion. You're like, well, you came and went. You're kind of like Mary Poppins, in with the wind,
Right.
out with the wind,
Yeah.
in and out. So one more for the audience, and then we'll cut it out for tonight. So for anybody that's listening that feels stuck in transition, what would you tell them? Because you've had a lot of transitions, ups and downs, and
Yeah.
location changes and job path
Yeah.
changes.
Oh, so this is gonna be so cliche, but like what's meant for you will come.
That's good
Really.
to know.
Um, it'll find its way to you. It may not be on the timeline that you expect, but it'll come. It'll be there. And just keep plugging along and learning and again progressing, right? Like I think that all coaches and anyone who's in any sort of education, you need to be, vulnerable with yourself, vulnerable with those that you're working with and tell your story. And then just making sure that you continue learning. Always be a student. Don't ever, even when you think you're the master, always be, because there's always something you can learn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
truth. Very good.
I love
This has
that.
just been so wonderful. Yeah, and I missed last week too, so I'm extra energized. So I apologize that you got extra me because I was sick
Oh,
and the
it's been
kids.
great. This has been
Anyway,
fun.
so thank you for tolerating. Nicole always tolerates me, but I appreciate your extra toleration. So if
Oh, you're
that's not the
good.
word, it is today. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
this has been so wonderful. So thank you. Yeah.
yeah.
And for those that are still listening, another prize December 4th, December 2nd, Tuesday, December 2nd, right, Nicole? That's the
Uh-huh.
next webinar,
Not
right?
a
For
prize.
those,
Yep, that's just our webinar. That's a webinar.
right. For
Not a
those that are
prize.
still listening. Yeah, sorry.
We do have a prize, though. We have a prize that Lindsay could
Yes.
win. So we have a vote for your favorite guest. So we
Podcast of the
just,
year.
yeah, podcast of the year. We just started guests this year. Wes and I came back from AOAP and we started the podcast with no guest. And as soon as we wrapped up the Lifeguard series, we opened up the podcast to guests. So everybody listening can go back and nominate the podcast of the year. So they have to vote so that we know who they pick. So
Yes.
Lindsay, you'll have to
Go.
tell everybody that you would like to be
Oh,
the
I
winner.
will.
And
Yeah.
as the
You bet.
winner, you get a free ticket to, what do they get a free ticket to, Wes?
The second annual All Things Aquatics event in Houston, Texas next September.
Ooh.
And there are only 100 spots. So now there
There
are
are.
99 spots
Right.
as of this moment because whoever wins the podcast, and maybe they bring a guest, or maybe there's only 98 spots.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the big. And then also, what else do they get, Nicole?
Oh, they get a $50 gift card because you know what it is? It's Christmas time, and who doesn't need extra cash? I mean, you could use that to pick
Yeah.
up a bottle of wine on
Well,
the way to the in-laws, or grab those pajamas you wanted because nobody remembered you because you're the mom. Whatever you need. Because it'll be on December 17th that we do the announcement, and then the
yes.
gifts will be given away. So,
See,
yeah, that is it. So, All Things Aquatics has a webinar. It's free. You guys can sign up for it, and then of course we're always open to guests. And of course, we really appreciate Lindsay stepping in tonight and thank her for opening her whole heart and life to all
yes,
of the internet and globally for everybody to hear her stories.
absolutely.
No
So thank you,
problem.
everybody, and thank you again, Lindsay. And again, like I said, Nicole, we did not scratch the top 10 of podcasts nationally, but
We're
with
getting there.
Lindsay's help, we're going to
We're getting
climb
there.
that ladder.
Right,
So
that's
thank
right.
you, everybody, and we'll see you guys next week, right?
Yep. All right, everyone, take care.